people's input formed who I became. And I had to shed a lot of those beliefs. And in that, as I shed them, I went through this sort of really deep transformational healing process that painting really helped me. And so this oracle deck I created, where each of those moments I had at different times helping me process what I was going through. And so I'm really proud to release it. It does feel like a very intimate insight into my world, and I love to share it with you. I am taking pre-orders on my website, and I don't want any money from you yet. And it's more when we solidify, you'll get a confirmation. And so there's no money changing hands. But if you want or are interested in the deck, you can go to my website. There's a pop-up, put your email in there. We will email you and get you that when we're ready. But in the meantime, you will start to notice a change in my social media platform. I did hire somebody to manage it because I hate doing that stuff, to be honest with you. I read full time out of my studio in St. Boniface, and I will continue to do that and paint more because I'm working on another deck, which is super exciting. And it's a huge art installation that I'm really excited. I'm already working on it and I can't wait to get it out. And it's inspired. And boy, I don't know. I like to think that it's something very unique about what's coming. So please stay tuned there. I'm going to just finish up with some bigger messages around world astrology, and with the transit of Neptune going into Aries, joining Chiron, joining the sun, the new moon, this eclipse, the final of the series of eclipses. Thank gosh. I'm going to say that we are going to, so over the next, April's pretty transformative astrologically, because as we get past April and some planets go direct, we also have Saturn sort of joining the Aries energy. That is, Aries is often misunderstood in the idea, for instance, in astrology, the archetype is often a patriarchal kind of archetype of a warrior. And I always like to think of her as Diana, the lady, the huntress, the protector of the forest, sort of that, more of that idea. And know that this energy, as it fires up, say the revolution, in terms of how we treat the environment, how water, how women, how our environment are all being treated, that is really where the revolution remain. And again, the rich and the poor, and how we protect our communities. And remember that spirit always has our greatest good in sight, and we have free will as spirits and sovereign agents of our own domain, and that we can choose how we approach all of these things. So I just say to people, raise our vibrations. We remember we're all on the same planet. We can't get off this planet unless you're Elon. But so we have to treat each other like we're all in the same home. And I just want to send everyone, including my American friends, lots of love. You're from Canada. And remember, we're on the same planet and we're here fighting for the same things. We all just want to raise our families and enjoy our lives. And so I send you lots of love and light. I'll see everybody in 7 days.
You're listening to A1R Psychic Radio, Earth's #1 psychic radio network, and watching Moonstruck TV and Lightning Television. Welcome. Time for Infinite Soul Connections with Shelley Devine.
The Hummingbird Media.
Live from InfiniteSoulReadings.com. Connect direct. In North America, dial 888-454-2751. In London, 20-3519-2158. In Sydney, dial 02-8488-3147. Or online, contact us through our Facebook page, facebook.com/psychic radio.
Or one of our websites,
AskOneRadio.com or Moonstruck.tv. This is Infinite Soul Connect on A1R, the Ask One Radio Network.
Hello, everybody. Shelley Divine here from Infinite Soul Connections. I am going to be talking today about a couple things. First thing I'm going to talk about is some animal medicine. Now, normally I pulled the animal spirit cards, and today I'm using the animal medicine cards. And what I pulled for everybody who's listening, if this, sounds like it's for you, take it. If it doesn't, don't worry. I pulled the crow. Okay. So we all know that crows are super intelligent. So intelligent. And there's a medicine story that tells of the crow's fascination with her own shadow. This is interesting. She kept looking at it, scratching it, pecking at it until her shadow woke up and became alive. Then Crow's shadow ate her. It's weird. Crow is dead crow now. Dead crow is the left-handed guardian. If you look deeply into a crow's eyes, you will have found the gateway to the supernatural. I love that. I love crows. I have so many around here at my house, and they come and they talk to me, especially when their bird water is empty. They come find me and kind of yell at me, so I go fill it up. Since Crow is the keeper of the sacred law, Crow can bend the laws of physical universe and shapeshift. This ability is rare and unique. Few adepts exist in today's world, and fewer still have mastered the crow's art of shapeshifting. This art includes doubling or being in two places at one time consciously, taking on another physical form and becoming the fly on the wall, so they're listening in, to observe what is happening far away. So the crow, what I'm getting from the card is, again, super intelligent. They know there's a connection. If you are opened up into, your intuition is opened up, there is a connection with the crow. And you can actually talk to them and look at them, and they will look at you and they will talk to you. And if they keep repeating, coming back, they kind of start to become what feels like kind of like a guardian. And this guardian is going to give you warning signs. Okay, so maybe if this makes sense to you about the crows, listen up. If you have crows around you, if something is going on, they're going to alert. And if you leave their bird water empty, they're going to yell at you. Okay, so also I want to talk about connecting with your spirit guides. And your spirit guides are always with you, whether you know it or not. You may have heard this before, but there may be some of you out there that are just kind of starting to understand their intuition and opening up to it, which if you do need help with that, I can help you with that. If you go to my website, infinitesoulreadings.com, I do spiritual life path coaching, okay, as well as readings. But so you have these guides. You have guardian angels too, okay? Slow down, let me tell them. You have your guides, and they're part of your soul's journey. However, you can choose to deepen your relationship with them by asking for their guidance and paying attention to what comes through, paying attention to their messages. That's where the intuition comes in. You can find a quiet space, meditate, and the meditate for this would just be the silent meditation. You just sit quietly and ask your guides questions. Ask them how they can make themselves known to you. You might feel a sensation, and that would be your answer. Like, okay, so when I feel the sensation, I know my guides are with me and are listening to me. You can do the same thing with angels. I work with angels a lot. And what the angels like to do for me, besides all the angel numbers that I see all the time, is they'll just like make the top of my head feel like it's tingling or somebody's playing with my hair. And that's how they've told me, that's how they're going to let me know they're there with me. Like if I'm kind of in not a great space and I ask the angels, are you with me? They will make my head tingle. Okay. So in this meditation, they're going to ask that kind of thing. Like, how can you show me that you're here? What do I need to know? Maybe you'll get words, maybe you'll get a picture, maybe you'll get a feeling or a deep knowing. Okay, that's your intuition. That's them talking to you. And you might get signs and symbols that appear either in your dreams or in life. Say if you keep seeing the same, I always use this example, the same bluebird, and that bluebird keeps showing up in the same spot, take that as a sign. Sit down, meditate, ask what the message is. You can also, good old Google, you could look up the meaning of a bluebird, which might start you in the right direction of understanding why you're seeing it. Okay? In my course that I teach, Awaken Your Creative Spirit, that's what we do when we do our paintings, like the painting behind me over here. I'll tell you, right there is the humpback whales, and that was a sign to me. And I started doing the painting with my students. They each had their own sign, so we didn't all do the humpback whale. Whatever sign came to them, and I taught them this layering effect, this layering technique of painting, and then on the last layer, you put your animal. So far, this thing is backwards. Right here. So you put your animal. So mine are humpback whales. And anyway, that's really fun thing to do. Now, how do your spirit guides help? Your guides offer wisdom and transcend worldly concerns, focusing on your spiritual growth. That's what they love you unconditionally. Let me say that right now, because they love you so much. And they are there for your spiritual growth and to help guide you through life, whether you're, totally awake and are getting symbols, or if you're just starting out, they're there. Okay. I just want you to know that. And they love you so much. So, for example, if you seek guidance about a relationship, they might highlight a lesson, growth opportunities, or deeper purpose of the connection, rather than just surface level issues. So like if you're with someone and there's so much love, but then there's this tension, like, I love them so much. Why are we not getting along? There's a lesson in that, right? My husband that I have right now, we've been married for 28 years, but my first husband was not super great. It was just not a very good match, and I was so deeply in love with him. And when we split up and I met my current husband, I'm like, okay, I see that I needed to split from that man because there was something new coming into my life. And the interesting thing is, I never ever regret the marriage that I had to him, because I have my amazing son from my first marriage. So I don't regret a single minute. It was a learning process, and I got my beautiful child out of it. And, that's how you can look back on things that didn't make sense when they were happening. Sometimes you won't get the answer right then and there. Sometimes you have to, some time will go by, and then you'll start to understand why you went through that. It's important. It's a little tough because I always want to know why. But I have been told over and over I need to have deep trust and blind faith. The answers will come when I'm supposed to get them. Okay? So let's go on to the angels. Angels are universal messengers of love. Angels are revered across spiritual traditions as divine helpers. St. Augustine once said, make friends with angels. These celestial beings respond to our call for help with unconditional love and transcend time and space. Now, what I have learned about angels is that you do need to invite them to intervene in your life, to come into your life. They are always there, but they won't intervene unless invited. Does that make sense? Say, angels, I love you, I trust you. Can you please help be in my life, be with me, help me to heal, help me to make through whatever I need to make it through. But generally, they're just there, and they'll come in like an emergency situation, but if you don't invite them in and start talking to them, they just kind of are there, and they can give so much if you let them in and invite them in. Okay, so that is my message for you guys, and it's the best thing that I could say at this moment is the guides and the angels love you unconditionally. No matter what you think about yourself, which you need to start loving yourself if you're not, they still love you. You make mistakes, they still love you. Okay? So I love you all. Go to my website if you want to work with me or want to get a reading. And until next week, I will see you then.
You're listening to A1R Psychic Radio, Earth's #1 psychic radio network, and watching Moonstruck TV and Lightning Television. Welcome. Time for Ask Bella Maria with Bella Maria.
Bella Maria.
Live from AskBellaMaria.com. Connect direct. In North America, dial 888-454-2751. In London, 20-3519-2158. In Sydney, dial 02-8488-3147. Or online, contact us through our Facebook page, facebook.com/psychic radio.
Or one of our websites.
AskOneRadio.com or Moonstruck.tv. This is Ask Bella Maria on A1R, the Ask One Radio Network.
Thank you. Okay, well, that was a great introduction. I am Bella Maria, and I am the celebrity psychic for California, of Northern California. So I've been doing this for over 20 years, and I've had this gift my whole life. But this has been something that I've been doing for a while. So my name is Bella Maria, and you are listening and watching Ask Bella Maria on Moonstruck TV and A1R Radio, Psychic Radio. So I'm so looking forward to doing this show. This has been something in the making, and I'm glad to be back on A1R Radio. I was on this station when I first started. So it's nice to go back and come back and be here and do this, I guess, the way that I needed to. I've grown and I've done so much in these past lot of years. It feels like a short period of time, but it's been a really eventful time. I'm a mom, I'm a wife, and I've seen my kids grow. I homeschool them. And so for me, it's just really, really cool to go through this experience as a certified psychic medium. And I'm a certified spiritual romance coach. My learnings have been all kind of based on what I have experienced and what I've worked with my clients, but it's just sorry about that. I don't know what's going on. We are having a lot of storms here. So, but I just wanted to continue. Thanks. So I have to say, you're good. Thank you. I appreciate that. So, I want to tell you what I use. So my skills here is, I've done a lot of learning and a lot of growing, and I'm not like everyone else. Everyone has their thing and everybody is different. And I never really found a place like a home. And so I kind of had to create my own home. And I think being a person kind of like, person who kind of is eclectic, I, come from a Christian background. And so for me, I never knew if it was accepted or not accepted. There was a lot of people who had like judgments and things like that. And I had to kind of find my niche. And so I held true to my beliefs and to what I did and what I stayed true with and what I aligned with. And so I decided that I wanted to work with multiple tools. So I have this that was created for me, and it is a pendulum board. And the pendulum board is such a cool thing to have because it does say, yes and no, and I believe it's rephrase and then maybe. And so for me, this is a way for detailed questions to get answered. And so people ask me these questions. They go, oh, I want to know if Hubert really loves me. And then I could say, well, I get this and I feel this and I see this and that. But when I go onto here and I go and I, use my pendulum, and mine is a wood pendulum. So I use everything very organic. I don't use crystal because it does change. But, I go on and I do this and I connect and I say, God, Jesus, Archangel Michael, love, light, and peace. And then I kind of just do my little message and prayer, my blessing to protect myself. And then I say, message from the light, show truth and clarity to those who seek the truest path. And so what I do is I get myself connected. I ask for, the person's name, birth date, and then maybe Hubert's name. Obviously, I know his name, and then his birth date. And then we start with the questions, and then we get into it. And that's what I found was like really, really good for me. And it worked really well. And so I started doing that. And then I use my angel. These ones I've had since like 2013. I got these. And these have been really, I've worked with them a lot. They give me my path, and they give me my understanding of the person. I kind of can do the reading, and then it's like almost like a confirmation when I pull the cards after. So I think what I want to do, and because we're really cut short, and I'm so sorry, today I might not be able to do a reading, but I am going to pull I'm going to pull a card for everyone who is listening. So I hope that this kind of helps you and gives you some insight for the rest of your week, because we're still starting the week off, right? And this is February, the first week of the month of love. And so I have a card, and then we're going to talk about one superstitious thing for Valentine's. So let's pull a card real quick. Do we have time? Are we good? Just want to make sure. So I'm going to go ahead and start shuffling these cards. And I want to pick a card for all of those who are listening. Okay, here we go. These are my cards, and I'm shuffling. So here we go. The Page of Fire. All right, there you go. Page of Fire. Ooh. That's an intense one. This one is great because you got the dragon, and you have, it looks like he's extending out. So that's really great because this is like new endeavors, exciting opportunities, keeping things like fresh and new, and being out there and putting yourself out there. So the month of February, we kind of are going to be doing that. We're getting ready for spring. We're getting ready for new love. It's the new season, right? Because every season has its thing. Well, we're going into a new season. So what's happening is that you're going to want to try to do something new. You're going to want to try to do something exciting and be original and creative and outgoing, and, see where it goes. Throw something on the wall and see if it catches and if it works. So with that being said, I think this is a cool card because, you could be really mischievous, because dragons kind of are mischievous, and so you can kind of be a little fun and creative and mischievous and have fun. And that is your card, the Page of Fire. There you go. I don't know if it's going to show. There we go. All right. I know it's kind of blurry. I'm sorry, people. This is all new to me. I'm trying. So I want everybody to we're going to go ahead and do real quick. We're going to do a superstitious Valentine. And so the one thing that I got here was from appleyardflowers.com. And I thought it was really cute. So we're going to just go through one, and it's ghostly going. So in Halloween and Valentine's Day, people like women would join forces on the superstitious tradition. And this old superstition was kind of where you had really gusty girls, and they would go to the local graveyard at midnight on the 13th of February. They would run around the church 12 times, chanting a prescribed poem with the hope of conjuring a ghostly vision of the man that they would marry. And I thought that was super cute because, that's really cute little tradition and superstition. And maybe they got their vision and insight of, what they wanted to, what they saw of their new person. And I thought, that was such a cute cute little superstition, a tradition that, maybe I've never really heard of it, but I thought it was the coolest thing. So I'm always kind of curious if somebody's already done something like that. I would love to see that. And so we have 2 minutes left on this show, and unfortunately it was very short. So, but I wanted to tell you guys, please make sure if you guys have questions or you want to, be a guest or do anything, please contact me at askbellamaria.com, and you can fill out the contact form and contact me. I don't take calls, but you can send me a text message, and feel free to reach out, and you can also reach out to A1R Radio, and they can go ahead and pass the information on to me. But please participate. Please be on the show. If you want to ask a question, ask me a question. Superstitions, omens, anything that you want and you're kind of curious about, I would love to do research on it and be able to give you those answers. So if you have a question on love and romance, I'm more than happy to do that. I'm certified under Patty Negri, and I'm certified under Dr. Ava Cadell, the love therapist, Hollywood stars. So thank you so much. I'm so glad to have seen you, to be here on this new show, Ask Bella Maria, on A1R Radio and Moonstruck TV. Have a wonderful week, and I'll see you next time.
To A1R Psychic Radio, Earth's #1 psychic radio network, and watching Moonstruck TV and Lightning Television. Welcome. Time for Angelic Insights and Healing with Margaret Phillips. Live from AngelsAlwaysAroundUs.com. Connect direct. In North America, dial 888-454-2751. In London, 20-3519-2158. In Sydney, dial 02 402-8488-3147. Or online, contact us through our Facebook page, facebook.com/Psychic Radio.
Or one of our websites.
AskOneRadio.com or Moonstruck.tv. This is Angelic Insights and Healing on A1R, the Ask One Radio Network.
Hi, everybody. Happy Tuesday. I hope you're having an awesome day. I am happy to be with you again here today. For those of you who don't know, I am Margaret Phillips. I'm the owner of Angels Always Around Us. I am a psychic medium, a life coach, a certified hypnotherapist, a Reiki master, an angelic energy healer, a shamanic energy healer, and a pranic energy healer. Lots of energy healing going on around here. So you can find me at my website at angelsalwaysaroundus.com. You can also find me on Facebook at Angels Always Around Us. You can find me at Instagram at Angel Margaret P. So we got some great stuff coming up this month. I can't believe how the heck did we get to April already? And no April Fool, it's April 1st. Oh my goodness. So what's going on in April? All kinds of great stuff. So first of all, every Tuesday I am here with A1R Radio doing Angelic Insights and Healing, where I do card readings, or if needed, maybe some energy work, whatever Spirit tells us we need to do, we're going to do that. We're going to get you guys some insights. We're going to get you guys some healings. We're going to get you what you need. Also, so April 5th, which is this Saturday, I am leading a healing circle in the Wissahickon Park System by the Valley Green Inn. We will be meeting at the Chessboard by Valley Green Inn. You can check out my Facebook page, Angels Always Around Us, to get more information about that. We will meet at the park at 10 o'clock, weather permitting. We're going to go for a short walk. We're going to talk a little bit, introduce ourselves, and then anybody who would like a healing can get one. Anybody who wants to heal can help people heal. If you need some tweaks or you just need some practice healing, if it's something I am trained in, I am more than happy to help give you tweaks or, whatever recommendations may or may not be needed on Saturday. I am doing this once a month, the first Saturday every month at 10 a.m., again at Valley Green Inn in the Wissahickon Park System in Philadelphia. It is free. There is no charge. This is an opportunity for healers to help people and for people to get help, and I am super duper excited about it. It's going to be great. So there's that going on this week. In a couple of weeks, so next week there is pranic healing at the Awaken Center. The week after there's pranic healing in Bluebell. You can check out my pages for those, information on that, or you can check out Pranic Healing of Bucks County, and you'll find all the great things they're doing. Also, Saturday, April 19th at 10 a.m., I am teaching my Journey into the Angelic Realms class at Circle of Miracles in New Britain. So that is from 10 to noon. We're going to talk about angels. We're going to talk about how to talk to them, how to communicate with them, what they do, all kinds of great stuff. You can sign up again, see my Facebook page. You can sign up for that. You must pre-register for that class because I will be having materials to give you guys. So I need to know who's coming. So I have your stuff ready for you. So, and then I do believe, where's it at? We have Brittany from Greenville, Michigan. How are you today, Brittany?
Hi, I'm good.
How can I help you?
Can you hear me? Oh,
yes, I can.
Oh, I was just trying to see if I couldn't get a reading, I guess.
Okay. Are you looking to connect with somebody on the other side, or you just want to see what the angels want you to know?
I just want to see what the angels want me to know.
Do you have anything in specific, or you just want to, again, just see what they think you need to know right at this moment?
Just right at this moment, that would be good.
Okay, you got it, Brittany. Oh, Brittany, you've had a little bit of a challenging time here lately, haven't you?
A little bit.
So we got a couple of cards here for you and tell you what's going on. So our first card is Ray. And Ray comes to us when we need to spend more time. Either, the card says yoga, but I find in my practice with my clients a lot more often than not, it's not really about yoga. It's more about meditating. It's more about being still and being quiet. Your angels are trying to talk to you. They're trying to give you messages, but they're having a hard time getting through. Mostly because, you're so busy trying to take care of everything else. You just can't catch a second to breathe. So the rays come in to remind you, take that second to breathe. As you take that second to breathe, I've got great news for you. And, it doesn't have to be a long second. It could literally be 5-10 minutes a day. If that's all you can squish into your schedule, squish that 5 minutes in. If you got to go hide in the bathroom for 5 minutes, tell your kids to come back later. It's all good, guys. Do whatever you need to do. Get some me time, however you got to get it. So after you start more often taking some me time, more often taking time to intentionally let spirit in, this is when the good stuff comes. So Fiona is here next. And I like to refer to Fiona as the banging your head against the wall angel. And Fiona comes to us when we've been trying and we've been working at something. We've been trying all these solutions and trying to fix all this problem. But no matter what we do, it just feels like we're banging our head against the wall. Nothing works, nothing works, nothing works. So Fiona says, after you do some meditating, she says, I'm going to come and help you. I'm going to bring you the answers you need. So take a breath and relax and know that the answers are coming. They are right on the horizon for you. You can almost grab them. You just need a little more quiet time so you can hear those answers a little better. Now, with hearing those answers a little better, there is a tip here for you. And this is Archangel Gabriel. And Gabriel is our communication archangel. So if you're having a hard time, even after you take a couple days of intentionally being quiet, trying to listen to spirit, allow yourself, ask Archangel Gabriel, say, help me hear better. Turn my hearing aid up, do something, because I'm not hearing you, angels. So ask Gabriel to make it more clear. Ask him to allow you to hear, feel, and see the answers that are being provided to you that you're being blocked from seeing right now.
Okay.
And the other thing we have, these are all, I'm a little biased. I love all these cards, guys. But, this is a good one too. These are all great cards. I understand, life has been really chaotic for you lately and you've been struggling. But these are all cards that indicate that peace is coming. These are all cards that your answers are coming. Just hang in there a little bit longer. And this last card is a great one as well. This is Archangel Michael. And he says, I'm giving you the courage to make the life changes that will help you work on your divine life purpose. And as he does that, you're making these life changes. There are things that's going to be happening. Yeah, it might be scary. Change usually is scary for a lot of us. But he says he is giving you courage. And hey, courage bestowed upon us by Archangel Michael, that's got to be the best courage ever. Am I right?
Yeah.
So no, you've got tons of angels working with you, and you've got the archangels working with you. You just kind of have to be quiet a little more and take some extra time for yourself. Is the other thing I'm hearing is you do not take enough time for you. When was the last time you did something just for you, Brittany?
Yeah, it's been a while.
So long you can't even really remember, huh?
I'm busy, yeah.
Well, but again, and here's the thing. I don't care if you got to go lock yourself in the bathroom for 5-10 minutes. It's very important that you make yourself a priority. It's very important that you allow yourself to have time for yourself. It's not being selfish, because I can tell you from what I feel, Brittany, it's not like you're going to go lock yourself in a room for 12 hours. You're too right in the trenches with your family. You're not going to go lock yourself in a room for 12 hours. Go away for a little bit, get some sanity. We all need that. That's okay. But, it's good. It's not being selfish, guys. When we take the time to care for ourselves, whether it be 5 minutes, 10 minutes a day, it can make a huge, huge difference. And, because when we take that 10 minutes for ourselves, we're really telling the universe, doggone it, I am worth it and I deserve to have some time for me because I respect me and I value me. And I know that this time for me is going to provide me sanity. So I'm going to find that 10 minutes somewhere. I know I'm a special mom, single mom of 2 special needs kids. I'm telling you, I know what it's like to not have that minute in the day, but I also know by finding that 10 minutes in the day, it can really save your sanity. And you will find as you take those few minutes of the day and as you make that a priority, it's not going to, give you 6 hours free a day. I wish it would. But it will magically start to give you a little more time. And most importantly, it's not only going to give you more time, but when you take that 10 minutes a day and you prioritize yourself, then it actually helps reduce your stress levels. It makes you feel calmer. It makes everything just kind of falls into place and works just a little bit better than if you're like, oh, I got to do this and I got to do that. No, I got to do this for that one. And, we can get crazy real quick if we're not careful.
Yep.
So you've got good stuff coming. Is there anything I can clarify or anything else I can answer for you today?
I'm thinking the big change thing, I'm possibly moving in with my boyfriend, and I'm just wondering if that's going to be good or not.
Can I ask what the first name of the boyfriend is?
Joe.
Oh, let's see. So this looks, again, I don't think you can have bad cards. I really don't, Brittany. So as long as you continue to have heart-to-heart conversations, as long as you are communicating with each other, it looks very good. Somebody here has got a few control issues, so keep in mind, it may look different than what you both think it's going to look like once you get there. And that's okay. As long as you guys work together and you communicate, that's the important thing. That's what matters. But I do not see it as a bad move. I see it as a very good move as long as, again, you guys keep those lines of communications open. If you're not sure how to approach something, ask Archangel Gabriel to help you with that. I hope that was helpful for you.
Yep.
All right, well, thank you, Brittany. You have an awesome day, and thank you for joining us today.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye. And then, again, I am Margaret Phillips from Angels Always Around Us. You can find me at angelsalwaysaroundus.com or on Facebook at Angels Always Around Us. Lots of great things coming up, so make sure you check out my Facebook event page and see what's coming. Great angel stuff coming, great healings coming. I will see you guys next week, if not before. Have a great day.
To A1R Psychic Radio, Earth's #1 psychic radio network, and watching Moonstruck TV, Enlightening Television. Welcome. Time for Love Life with Katana Star. Katana Star. Live from katanastar.au. Connect direct. In North America, dial 888-454-2751. In London, 20-3519-2158. In Sydney, dial 02-8488-3147. Or online, contact us through our Facebook page, facebook.com/psychic radio.
Or one of our websites,
AskOneRadio.com or Moonstruck.tv. This is Love Life on A1R, the Ask One Radio Network.
Hello everyone, how are we all? Welcome, I'm Katie and you are watching and listening to Love Life with Katana Stuff. So I'm going to jump straight into a tarot collective message today for those who are listening and watching. And then I will also be accepting a caller if we get one through. Hopefully we will. If not, I will continue to sit here and we'll talk about tarot and anything that sort of whatever spirit might bring through. We'll see how we go. Okay, so collective message for today is the Queen of Swords. I love the Queen of Swords. She's beautiful. The Queen of Swords is a woman, normally with female energy. Oh, sorry, I shouldn't say woman. I should just say she represents female energy. because this can be the feminine side to a male as well. That she is thinking with clarity, she is thinking with logic, she is gazing off into the horizon, contemplating all her former mistakes. She's someone who's often been through very painful experiences in life that have made her so strong. Okay, she knows where she's going. She knows exactly what she's doing. She's someone who will often listen to dilemmas and contemplate that logically, so that dilemmas are resolved with that rational decision making, as opposed to reacting with emotions and things like that. The Queen of Swords is a very strong communicator. Okay, she's someone who will ensure that business negotiations will go smoothly, that communication in relationships will flow smoothly, that she also comes with the confidence to be able to be assertive, okay, rather than rude, because sometimes the King of Swords can come across as a bit harsh and a little bit blunt for the likings of some, but the Queen of Swords will always say it in a way that is respectful as well as has that clarity. So there is the energy of the Queen of Swords, and yeah, that could be the energy that a lot of us at the moment are embracing, or there might be need to embrace. Now, I have got Lisa on the phone. How are you, Lisa? Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can. How you doing?
I'm doing really well, thanks, Lisa. And I hope you are too. What can I do for you this evening?
Okay, I would just like to know about my future, I guess, relationships, financial, maybe.
Sure, okay, all right. So let's have a look. We're looking at the path that you're on future-wise with relationships. Are you currently single, or are you seeking a relationship? The reason I ask is because, honestly, it just helps me give that answer with so much more clarity. Otherwise, I can sit here for ages and unpack it with the tarot. But, yeah, are you looking for a relationship, or are you single, or in a relationship situation?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's kind of complicated. Oh.
Sorry, what was that?
I said I am single.
All right, okay. And we're wanting to know about the future with relationships, okay? I do get the sense that there's someone in the scene, though. You say you're single, but I reckon there's someone there. All right, let's see what comes out with the cards. Here we go.
Okay.
All right, Lisa, it's interesting. Here's the Two of Cups, honey. The Two of Cups is here. That means new relationships. That means positive flow, reciprocal energy as well. It's actually a really nice energy when it comes to relationships, romantic relationships. It can mean a friendship as well. The Four of Pentacles fly out right next to it. Now, Lisa, that's signifying to me when it comes to the future of your relationships, you might have your walls up still. You have got your guard up, and you might be feeling very reluctant to give part of yourself due to past hurts, okay? Often that's the case. I mean, the Four of Pentacles, if you want to look at it from a financial aspect, it could be, might be worried that you could be taken advantage of financially or something like that, or you're worried about money. Because that might have been a lesson from the past for you. And the reason I say that is because the Knight of Pentacles is here, and the Knight of Pentacles is somebody who's quite materialistic, but it's sort of in a good way. I mean, they work hard for what they've got. They put the hard work in. They're not afraid of hard work. It's a very slow-paced moving energy, though, this one. So that's telling me, Lisa, in terms of future, I do see someone there who has the qualities of the Knight of Pentacles. Now, this man, or woman for that matter, doesn't have to be male. Like I said before with the Queen of Swords, it's just about male and female energy. He is potentially aged between 20 to 40s normally. So this could be someone, I mean, I'm not sure how old you are, but this could be someone younger than you, but they're still very much on their own journey. And they've got steadfastness behind them, okay? The Empress is here. I do see a potential pregnancy, okay, either of yourself or somebody close to you. The other thing the Empress can mean is a fresh, brand new start with something, okay? She's about the seeds that you've planted blossoming and coming into fruition, so to speak, okay, hypothetically. She's the mother of the tarot as well, okay? That's why I sort of asked if there was, a pregnancy either of yourself or around you. I'm not sure if that's something you've contemplated before. Let's unpack this a little bit more. There's the Eight of Wands here. So that means, either news coming in on a situation, okay? So you could be finding out that either someone's pregnant, okay? It could even be you or someone close to you, or it could even be an inspiring energy there, Lisa, that you might be feeling inspired that this is what you want to happen, okay? But again, I think with the future, with the question of your path forward, I do actually see someone, like I said, with the Knight of Pentacles still very much there. I think he might even be someone you already know. And the Five of Wands is here, which is signifying that there's been a lot of ego-driven conflict in the dynamic here, okay? So this could be tapping into someone past, but I kind of think this is sort of current for you there, Lisa. I think perhaps there's been some conflict. There's been a bit of a falling out. You really... the Five of Wands is the kind of energy, you know when you go camping with people and you're putting up a tent and everybody wants it done a certain way and you can't agree on how it's done. Does that sort of make sense? Even though you're after the same outcome, you're after the same goal to put the tent up, but none of you can see eye to eye because you think your way's the way. Do you know what I mean? That's the energy of this relationship that I'm picking up on. And I think that you potentially can be quite stubborn, okay, probably not in a bad way. This is more of in a self-preservation way, in the sense that you might not want to be able to do any giving here. You might have your foot firmly planted in the ground there, Lisa, which is, like I said, not a bad thing, but that could be a challenge for the other party, okay? And the reason I'm saying that is because the King of Swords is here. Now, the King of Swords, interestingly, I mentioned him earlier with the collective message. He is someone who is going to say it how it is, quite harshly sometimes, which can trigger often a lot of this sort of ego-driven conflict, you could say. And he's there on the horizon for you, okay? So what I'm sort of getting... You've got the energy of the Knight, okay, the hard work that's gone in already in a situation, or the steadfastness there that's sort of been there, but it's a sort of a slow-paced energy. And then swiftly here, you've got the King of Swords, okay? So that could mean that things are about to come to a head where you're going to be able to do some really clear communication with another person, all right? And that things are going to be made clear, that, there's going to be that positive flow of communication in a way. But he also might be saying something, let's see here, that... that's going to sort of bring some clarity to this. And coming back to the Pentacles, which is what the Knight represents, that hard work going into a situation, you've got a new beginning here, Lisa. There's the Eight of Pentacles here. Ace of Pentacles, sorry. There's an offer on the horizon here. There's an opportunity for you to either renew an old relationship or an existing one, all right, or there's a new offer completely here. And this person could be an earth sign. Now, I'm going to pause. Do you have any questions for me, or is something not clear in what the cards are saying so far?
No, everything's fine so far that you said.
Okay, cool. I'll keep going then, because I want a little bit more clarity on this new opportunity. All right, so the Ace of Pentacles.
Okay.
Let's see. Travel, flight, move on. Okay, so this card pretty much is self-explanatory. This is suggesting it's either time to move on from former burdens of an existing kind of energy, because there's something new there, or you could be going travelling with this person, or you could even meet this person while you're travelling. All right, let's see what else comes out around it, because I want more clarity on this new there we go. Family supports, comfort and stability. So this card here is very much the decisions that you're making moving forward to do with relationships. The opinion and the needs of your family are going to come first here. Like you, someone who, I'm guessing, unless you're going literally with what the cards say, family is very important to you. Okay, I mean that's a no-brainer. Family is important to most of people, but this could be decisions that you're making in relationships are to do with family first. Okay. There is a timing on this, which is summertime. All right, so something could be happening around summertime for you that's significant in relationships. Let's have a quick look, and then I'll quickly unpack your finances, because that's what we asked for, I think, wasn't it? Finances. Something's done and dusted though here, Lisa. You are at the finish line with something. You have completed something, okay? And it's like that, almost like that feeling of relief. You've crossed that finish line now, and it's now time to just go, okay, regather yourself. Where to from here? I do see new beginnings and new opportunities for you, okay? So With the King of Swords there, now he could be Gemini, Libra, Aquarius energy. I do see him as being your future in relationships. Okay, I think the Knight of Pentacles is the energy that you're leaving behind here. And the Knight of Pentacles, that's okay. They're still on their own journey, and they take a while to get where they're going, okay? They are steadfast, but they're still kind of moving very slowly. And there's the King of Swords there. So you could meet him while traveling, possibly, all right?
Okay.
If it's not someone new, it's a renewal of an existing earthy kind of energy, okay? Because like I said, there's the Ace of Pentacles there, which means new opportunities, all right? But given that there's so many pentacles that have come out in your reading, it could be the renewal of that person with the earth element in their chart, and they're normally Cancer, Taurus, Virgo, not always. And there could be some really good communication with that person. So it's one or the other. Those are what the cards are suggesting for you with love and relationships anyway, my dear. And I've only got a minute left, so very quickly I'm going to pull a quick card on your finances, okay? Was it finances?
Okay. Yes.
All right. What does Lisa need to know in regards to finances? Here we go, and then I need to wind up. Taking time, my darling, that seeds have been planted with something, Lisa. Nurture those seeds that have been planted. It may be boring, it may be like watching paint dry, but keep nurturing those seeds because something is happening, something is growing. It just takes time. Okay, thank you so much for allowing me to do a reading with you, and I hope that was helpful. As for everybody else, I shall be back same time next week, and I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. Thank you.
Psychic Radio, Earth's #1 psychic radio network, and watching Moonstruck TV and Lightning Television. Welcome.
Time for Stellar Parenting with Brandy Kahn. Live from BrandyCahn.com.
Connect direct. In North America, dial 888-454-2751. In London, 20-3519-2158. In Sydney, dial 02-8488-3147. Or online, contact us through our Facebook page, facebook.com/psychic radio.
Or one of our websites.
AskOneRadio.com or Moonstruck.tv.
This is Stellar Parenting
On A1R, the Ask One Radio Network. You're
Happy Tuesday, everyone, from Houston, Texas. Welcome to Stellar Parenting. I am your host, Brandy Kahn. I'm an intuitive astrologer, and I also hold a Master of Science degree in psychology with an emphasis in child and adolescent development. And I'm super passionate about helping parents to custom design their parenting approach based on their child's natal chart. And if you'd like to work with me, please visit my website at brandycon.com and book a session. And just to let you know, my sessions are a little different from other astrologers because of my background as an evidential and trance medium. I don't just analyze planetary positions or alignments. I really tune into their energy, and I offer guidance from a deeply intuitive place. So again, if you'd like to work with me, my website is brandycon.com. So for today, we have so much to talk about, so much to catch up on. It is April 1st, and I have the highlights for this month for everyone. So we will go through the highlights, and then I will give you the high points for this week. We'll talk about our transits for this week. So let's jump in. We've got a lot to talk about, guys. So this month, there's going to be a lot of changes coming up. We've had Venus retrograding through the sign of Aries, and now Venus is retrograding through the sign of Pisces since March 1st. And during this time, each one of us has been invited to really review our relationships and the dynamics that we have between ourselves and other people, and to really put a magnifying glass on how am I relating to others? Are my relationships serving me in a nurturing way? So we were also focused on how we spent our money, what we really valued in life, to think about our values. Is our life aligned with our values? We've all been really mulling this over for the last few weeks. Well, this will come to an end on April 12th when Venus will finally go direct. And we've also been dealing with Mercury retrograde since March 14th. And during that time, we've all been invited to review how we think and how we communicate with others. And since Mercury was retrograding through Aries, and now Mercury is retrograding through Pisces, but really when Mercury was going backwards in the sign of Aries, we were looking at themes around how we assert ourselves in our communication and how we speak up for ourselves. Do we feel strong and courageous enough to speak up for ourselves, to assert ourselves, to speak up for other people? Now with Mercury retrograding in the water sign of Pisces that's so sensitive and intuitive, we are focused on not only asserting ourselves, not only speaking up for ourselves, but doing so in a very compassionate way. Now, Mercury will go direct in 1 week on April 7th, and then it will be time to move forward with all of the lessons that we've learned during this Mercury retrograde. It's also quite huge. I did speak last week about Neptune moving into Aries. So we have 3 outer planets in astrology. We have Neptune, Uranus, and Pluto. And those 3 planets tend to move extremely slowly. And the themes that they represent are themes that last during an entire generation. That's why they are called generational planets. So we had Neptune come into the sign of Aries Sunday, just a couple days ago. The last time Neptune was in the sign of Aries was 158 years ago, from 1862 through 1875. Now remember, Neptune is the planet of transcendence, dreams, and ideals, spirituality. And when Neptune enters a sign, there's the glamorization of the aspects or the themes of that sign. And so with Neptune moving into Aries, Neptune's now in Aries, Aries is all about courage, independence, freedom, assertiveness, initiating, starting, boldness. And people who will feel this change the most will have planets or angles anywhere from 0 to 1 degree of Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn. And I have to tell you, I do have a natal planet at 29 degrees of Virgo, which is right before that 0 degree of Libra. So Neptune in Aries is opposing one of my natal planets and has been opposing that planet for several months, but in the sign of Pisces. And let me tell you, from that opposition, I felt so compassionate and empathetic, like Mother Teresa, right? Like, such a sense of transcendence, spiritual transcendence. And it's like someone flipped a switch on Sunday when Neptune moved into Aries, because now I feel like I'm in warrior mode. I want to speak up. I want to speak up for other people. I want to assert myself. And I wish that I could hear from all of you guys and to know, is anyone else feeling this change or this shift the way that I am feeling it? It's quite remarkable. Now, Neptune in Aries might signal a time period when we're really fighting for ideals and we're passionately pursuing avenues of activism or social change. It might also represent a time when we're stepping into our power instead of just handing it over to those at the top. But on the flip side, if we think about the shadow side of Aries, so if Aries is balanced and constructive, Aries can be very assertive. But when unbalanced, Aries can be overly aggressive. So Neptune and Aries could be a time when people potentially glamorize conflict, fighting, and war. And that's not the way, hopefully, that we will see this planet in this sign expressed this time, because the last time in the 1800s, the day after Neptune moved into Aries, the United States entered into the Civil War. So this time, as a collective, as a society, I'm hoping that we make a different choice and we use this in a much more constructive and balanced way. So what makes this so significant? Neptune moved into Aries on Sunday. If you remember, I've been talking quite a bit about Pluto moving into Aquarius on November 19th. And then we will have the other generational planet Uranus moving into Gemini this summer in July. The outer planets change signs. Okay, that happens. But it's rare that they all three change signs within, less than a year together. So this is a significant time. This is a significant year where things are going to change in a very significant way. Now, when Neptune moved into Aries on Sunday, it also activated a very sensitive point. So Neptune is now at 0 degrees of Aries. That point is called the Aries point. And historically, when this has happened before, it usually signals a time of high visibility for people. Okay, not just everyday people, yes, that as well, but also people in power. And this is usually when things will come out or go public. And the Aries point will be activated for the entire month of April. And Mercury, remember, Mercury is not going to be retrograding anymore. Mercury will be moving forward. Mercury is going to hit this same spot on April 16th, followed by Venus hitting the Aries point on April 30th. So it's possible that really big things can come out in the news this month. But on an individual level, I need for everyone to remember this piece of advice, especially for this month. It's very important. It's going to be difficult to keep things hidden this month. So make sure that you and your actions are aligned with the values of honesty and integrity. I want you to be genuine and I want you to be authentic. If you do something without good intentions, but then you try to pretend that your motive was good, you're not going to be able to disguise that this month. Okay. So align yourself with your highest potential and live from that place. You will not regret it, I promise you. So please remember that, very important. Also this month, Leo will leave the water sign of Cancer and move into the fire sign of Leo, which will give a boost of energy to people with planets or angles in the signs of Leo, Aries, and Sagittarius. So Mars is going to be in the fire sign of Leo from April 18th all the way through June 17th. And we're going to have a major aspect with Mars toward the end of this month, when Mars and Pluto are going to oppose each other. On April 27th, there will be an opposition between Mars and Pluto. Now, Mars is the planet of action, energy, and drive. And Pluto is a much more intense version of Mars. So when these two aspect each other, especially when it's at a difficult angle, like an opposition, we really have to be careful, because the dysfunctional expression of this dynamic duo can show up as explosive anger or violence. Now, if you think back to the beginning of the year, here in the United States, we had a mass casualty event in New Orleans when 14 people were killed on New Year's Day. And during that time, guess what? We had Mars in opposition to Pluto. And this is the same transit that we are going to have again at the end of this month. So each of us must set the intention to use this energy constructively, not destructively, especially when it comes to the last week of the month. You want to use anger as motivation to create positive change and stand up for yourself or advocate for others. You also want to remember to express anger in a healthy way, like through physical activity or journaling or creative outlets, like creating art or music. So please, I need for everyone to keep that in mind as we're getting closer toward the end of this month. On April 12th, we will have a full moon at 23 degrees of Libra, which it's going to be a time of strong emotions. This moon is going to be squaring, which is a tense aspect, Mars and Cancer. So there could be themes around getting things done at home, getting things done, finishing something, a project coming to full culmination with the family, or even around protecting and defending not only our family, but maybe also our homeland, our country. And we will have a new moon at 7 degrees of Taurus on April 27th, which will also be significant. So usually new moons mark a time of beginning, of starting something new. And this moon will be in a tense aspect to both Pluto and Mars. And on top of that, you guys, Mars is going to be opposing Pluto at the same time. This is the transit I was just telling you about that we had at the beginning of January when we had the attack on New Orleans. Mars opposing Pluto. So with the new moon on the 27th, you've got Mars opposing Pluto, and then that new moon is also in the mix. So I would definitely say this is going to be an eventful time for us. And the only thing that you can really do individually is to make sure that we are practicing awareness and we are handling all of this energy responsibly. We shape how we use the energy. We are not victims here. And there's nothing fated that has to happen that's bad. The only thing that needs to happen is we just need to be aware of the energy that we're working with and to set the intention to do it in a way that's constructive, that's balanced, and that's helpful. So finally, I do want to mention also, you may have seen other astrologers talking about this because there's quite a few that are speaking out about this publicly. This is going to be a difficult month for President Trump. And like I said, I'm sure you've heard our other astrologers say the same thing. And what we are seeing is that he's heading into a time period where things could be a little bit dicey for him. He's going through the exact same transit that he went through last summer when an attempt was made on his life, which is very troubling. Regardless of how we feel politically about someone, we never wish for harm to come upon anyone. But this will be a sensitive time for him, not only because transiting Uranus is conjunct his midheaven, and that transiting Uranus is squaring his natal Mars in the sign of Leo, and that Mars is conjunct his ascendant, which is not only about how people see him, but also about his physical body. So like I mentioned, regardless of how we feel politically about someone, let's all hold the energy for everyone to be safe and for everyone to be well. And yes, I'm also talking about the federal judges who are being threatened here in the US and their family members who are being threatened. Let's just hold the energy for safety and wellness for everyone. So those are the highlights that we have for the month of April. And now we will jump into our transits for the week. So these are our transits for April 1st through April 6th. Tuesday, April 1st, today. Happy April Fool's Day. We've got Venus conjunct the North Node at 27 degrees of Pisces. And when I connect to the energy behind this aspect, I'm shown that the North Node has a way of really bringing the energy of Venus to the forefront. Okay, so it's going to permeate the consciousness of humanity in different ways. Today, you might feel really focused on how you relate to others, on your relationships and your friendships, and all about what you value. Or you might be thinking about how you can show more compassion and empathy in your relationships. Or maybe you're rethinking how you acted in certain situations that really required you to be more empathetic and more understanding. But maybe at that point in time, you were not able to fully empathize with the person that you were interacting with. And now you're making a plan to ensure that next time, if it happens again next time, I'm going to behave differently. I'm going to hold myself to a different standard of action. Also, if you have children who have enjoyed a hobby in the past, but now they're not actively pursuing that hobby, don't be surprised over the next few days if they come to you and say, Mom, Dad, I want to go back to piano, or I want to go back to ballet, or I want to go back to baseball or basketball. That's possible during this time. So just remember that. But the energy of love, the energy of kindness and joy, that's the signature for this aspect, feels quite strong when I connect to it. And today, this energy may call you to use it, and you may feel drawn to call a friend or a family member and just tell them how much they mean to you, or to maybe do a kind deed for your neighbor. And if you're feeling that way, if you're feeling that pull, I really want you to go with it. Go with it. Lean into it. Don't ignore the urge to show love. So on Friday, April 4th, Mercury retrograde will conjunct the North Node at 27 degrees of Pisces. So again, the energy of the North Node will really bring the principles of Mercury to the forefront, okay? And those are the principles of thinking and communication. But remember, Mercury is retrograde right now, and Mercury retrograde calls for us to reflect and to review. So with this transit, there could be a lot of rumination, a lot of going back over things, thinking about things, obsessing about things that you thought that you had dealt with before, okay? Or thinking about things that you thought, situations that you thought were done and finished, okay? That may be at the forefront of your mind on Friday. And you might also feel a deep need to finalize things that you've left unfinished, such as projects. Okay. There also might be a need to focus on creativity or spiritual expression or spiritual learning. Anything that utilizes the right side of the brain is appropriate. So on Friday, give yourself the safe space to think mystically, to think creatively, and to daydream or to visualize what you most want in your life. And don't demand that the energy of Mercury and Pisces be anything different than what it is. Also on Friday, April 4th, we will have Saturn 24 degrees of Pisces sextile Uranus at 24 degrees of Taurus. So Saturn is the planet that's all about commitment and structure, and Uranus is all about change and new ways of thinking. And when I tap into the energy of this aspect, it feels like a push forward, and it will really help us to develop the framework, system, or structure to implement radical new ideas. If there are systems or situations in your life that really require a new course of action, this aspect can help you with that. And for example, if you're in a work situation or relationship that really feels too limiting or restrictive, this might be the time when you come up with a concrete plan to give yourself that sense of freedom that you so desperately want. And that's because also on that day, Friday, April 4th, we will have Mars at 24 degrees of Cancer trining Saturn 24 degrees of Pisces. And Mars is all about energy and getting things done. So this transit can give us the energy and the drive to change things at home, to change things at work, in our relationships, or to make a move for our family, or to really go the distance with a project that requires intense focus and commitment. And parents, this is an excellent time to really implement structure at home and to instill a sense of discipline and routine to give your child a really solid foundation for secure attachment. It's also a great time to begin spiritual practices or activities at home, like family prayer time or meditation time. It's also a great time to set a routine or schedule for your child's creative pursuits. Like, okay, every Tuesday at 7 p.m., you are going to practice piano, okay? Or any other creative activities. That's what this transit would really be good for when it comes to you and your children. Also on Friday, April 4th. Wow, Friday is a loaded day, you can tell. We've got Mars, 24 degrees of Cancer, sextile Uranus, 24 degrees of Cancer. I'm sorry, that would be Uranus, 24 degrees of Taurus. So with Mars is all about action and energy. Uranus is about change and freedom. So this transit would really give us a burst of energy and a feeling of excitement and a drive to secure our freedom or to do something new, something out of the ordinary, to break our old routine. We might feel the need to take a new path. And now we have the energy to really get something off the ground, to get it going. We might feel drawn to break free from a limiting situation or to assert our own individuality. So all of this is for Friday. And just watch how you're feeling the energy and set the intention to channel it in a very balanced and constructive way. On Sunday, April 6th, we will have the sun at 16 degrees of Aries, sextile Jupiter at 16 degrees of Gemini. The sun is about our sense of self, our identity, and Jupiter is all about growth and expansion. So with this transit, there's going to be a lot of energy and drive to begin new projects and initiatives because the sun is in the sign of Aries. And Aries is all about being a trailblazer and taking action, and let's do something new, courageous, and bold. You might feel really confident with the idea of blazing a completely new trail or starting a project completely from scratch. And if you have a child who has a soccer or baseball or basketball game on this day, they may be able to really take this energy and utilize it in a magical way for this amazing performance. Okay, this aspect with the sun and Jupiter really gives a boost of confidence where we need it most. So keep that in mind. And finally, the same day, Sunday, April 6th, we will have Venus retrograde at 25 degrees of Pisces, trining Mars at 25 degrees of Cancer. So with this aspect, we might be focused on our relationships at home. And maybe we come to the realization that we've really neglected these connections, like within our own home or family. And now there's a desire to really bridge the gap and to make amends. And this can also be with people outside of the family as well. This is the aspect that we could use to take steps to patch up old misunderstandings or disagreements. So utilize this energy with Venus trining Mars to bring in a sense of harmony, diplomacy, and peace to your relationships. So those are our transits for this week. Please set the intention to use this energy in a balanced way, in a way that brings stellar alignment with your highest potential and the highest version of you. And like I always like to remind you at the end of the show that the stars may guide us, but we hold the power to shape our destiny in wonderful and fantastic and amazing ways. So keep shining your inner light, let it radiate, let it spread it everywhere to everyone that you meet. And I hope that you all have an amazing week, and I will see you back here again next week.
Radio, Earth's #1 psychic radio network, and watching Moonstruck TV and Lightning Television. Welcome. Time for Amanda Hall Psychic with Amanda Hall. Live from AmandaHallPsychic.com.au. Connect direct. In North America, dial 888-454-2751. In London, 20-3519-2158. In Sydney, dial 02-8488-3147. Or online, contact us through our Facebook page, facebook.com/psychic radio.
Or one of our websites,
AskOneRadio.com or Moonstruck.tv. This is Amanda Hall Psych on A1R, the Ask One Radio Network.
Welcome to A1R Psychic Radio here on Moonstruck TV with Amanda Hall Psychic all the way from the Gold Coast. I hope you're having an absolutely sensational week wherever you are in this planet of ours. We're gearing up here for another rain event. It seems to be every second week we seem to be heading up for another rain event here on the Gold Coast. But look, it's our wet season, so we're not going to complain. It's a really, really interesting time going on around in the globe at the moment. There's lots of weather events, lots of earthquakes, bushfires, floods, you name it. And it's sort of like I keep getting messages in my inbox, Amanda, what does this mean? Look, I'm not a meteorologist. I can only say to you that, you know, obviously the planet is readjusting and we've got to start taking a little bit of notice of global warming. You know, I've been an advocate for that for many, many years, and we're now starting to reap the rewards of us not paying attention to what Mother Nature wants us to do. So, you know, it's not, yes, it is up to governments and things like that, but it's also up to individuals to sort of take some responsibility and look at reducing their land waste and things like that, you know, saying no to the packaging and things like that that are causing, you know, are contributing to global warming, you know, like think before you hop in the car, things like that, that we can all make small adjustments, which will help Mother Nature sort of rebalance the planet. So that's my little soapbox for the week. So here's the Simply Tarot card of the week. Now, this is a really interesting card because it's one of those sort of ambiguous cards that a lot of my students get confused with because it's the Two of Swords and it sort of says peace and harmony. And they used to say to me, well, how can it be peace and harmony when you've got a blindfold on? But I'll explain that in a minute. So peace and harmony, needing to take the blindfold off and keep reassessing the situation at hand. Now, there's many times in our lives where we're feeling a little bit like this, as if we're walking through life blindfolded, even though we've got the swords there, they're not actually crossing us, they're just sort of there to sort of, I suppose, give us a little bit of guidance. And it's also sort of, if you're not able to see it on the screen, but very close underneath the blindfold, she is actually peeking out just underneath it. So it's giving her that opportunity to constantly reassess the situations or the issues that are going on in life. Nothing is set in concrete. We have the ability to maybe take a new path or look at it through a fresh set of eyes. So it's a fluid situation. It's actually quite a positive card because this card comes out in a reading. It says, okay, you've got a little bit of a peaceful reprieve here to sit down, look at the situation, reassess it, make sure that you're on the right path, make sure it's the best possible fit for you. Is there anything that you need to modify, change, maybe put it off, you know, look for another timing, whatever the case may be, it's giving you that little bit of opportunity there to reassess the situation. And, you know, you can see the peaceful water behind her, so she's got her back to the peaceful water. So it's not as if she's feeling threatened in any way. It's more of a personal thing. It's more of something that's going on in her life, in her head, that she needs to assess. It's not necessarily something that's going on around her. So it's a very, very interesting card. So if that comes out in a reading for you, just stop, look and listen and ask yourself what it is that you need to be sort of reassessing in your life. So we've got a big week astrologically this week, as we do every week here on the show. So the sun is currently in Aries. It won't be there for much longer. So happy birthday to all the Aries. I mean, it's a very exciting time of the year because it's the astrological new year. It's the beginning of the astrology year when the sun enters into Aries. And I always find it a very uplifting time of the year. I suppose possibly because I'm a fire sign and it's sort of the energy sort of resonates with me. But to me, it's sort of like we've got over the new year. We've got over the New Year's resolutions. We've had the Chinese New Year, and then we come to the astrology New Year, and it's like, wow, I'm ready now. I'm ready to take the bull by the horns. I'm ready for action. So that's a good sign. So no matter what your star sign is, we can all celebrate in the astrology New Year. So happy birthday again to all the Aries. So we have the planet Neptune has just moved into Aries. Now, this is a major thing because Neptune's going to be here for quite some time. But I want to clarify, Neptune will only be visiting Aries till about October, November this year. Then he'll slip back into Pisces again for a little time. Quite often, it's not uncommon for a planet to go forward and then go retrograde 2 or 3 or 4 times before it actually beds into the new sign. So Neptune in Aries is going to seem a little bit uncomfortable to begin with because Neptune is the planet of creativity, of illusion, delusions, and getting in touch with our creative side of ourselves. And sometimes, yes, we can delude ourselves or others, but it's not the major thrust of Neptune. To me, I like to look at Neptune as the opportunity to be creative, to get in our own head, to daydream, to stare out the window, to sort of, be a little bit like Peter Pan and go off into fairyland and sort of see what Neverland might bring us. And then we come back into reality and we try and bring that back into our day-to-day lives and apply it in a practical, logical sort of manner. So Neptune in Aries is going to feel a little bit uncomfortable because Neptune is so creative and Aries is sort of so go-getting. Aries doesn't really like to be creative. He wants to be up, off, out the door, let's do it. Being the first sign of the zodiac, wants to get everybody motivated, up off the couch, let's go. So it's sort of almost in a sense like a conflict of interest because the creative side is trying to sneak through or sort of trying to push through and become the dominant energy of Aries. But the Aries sun is saying, hang on a minute, but what about me? I'm me first. I'm important. I'm the most important person in this race. So I think it's going to be a little bit of adjustment there for Aries people to sort of blend the two together and not necessarily see it as a competition, but see it as, well, okay, this is another dimension. It's another layer. I might allow Neptune to take over for a couple of hours and then I might let the sun take over for a couple of hours or whatever. They can live together in harmony. But as I said, it's going to be a little bit of an adjustment. So it's roughly about October, I think, from memory, that it goes retrograde, and it'll go retrograde for a couple of months and then, we'll have these adjustments going on and we'll talk about it on the show as Neptune moves from one sign to the other. Now, at the moment, the predominance is on I should go back and say, look, with Neptune slipping into Aries, it will affect fire signs more than the other signs. So Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, the opposite sign of Libra, but it will wash over the other signs too. So if you're feeling as if your creative juices are flowing 1 minute and somebody's turned the tap or the faucet off next, that's the reasons why, because Neptune's trying to adjust and find his feet sitting in Aries. So just be a little bit patient with yourself. If the creative juices aren't flowing, go for a walk, feed the dog, do some dusting, do something else, take your mind off it for a few minutes and come back and you'll probably find it's realigned. So the next area that we're going to be looking at is there's still a lot of planetary configurations and energy sitting in Pisces. So when we're talking about the Pisces energy, we're predominantly talking about water signs, which is Pisces, Cancer, and Scorpio, and the opposite sign of Virgo. But this is also washing over the remaining 8 signs. So maybe not quite as intense, but it is still there for each and every one of us to sort of understand and work with the energy. So we're starting off with Saturn, the planet of discipline, the father figure, the planet that gives us that stickability, that makes us determined or stubborn sometimes to sort of achieve and to achieve well. And we're looking for sort of solid results here. We're not necessarily looking for a fly-by-night situation. We're looking for something that we can implement for a long period of time, that will give us structure in our lives, that will help us sort of find a direction and sort of say, this is my path, this is my road that I'm on, and I'm going to be here for quite a long time. So I'm going to have to get used to being a little bit patient and working diligently towards what I'm trying to achieve. Now, Saturn here is conjunct or holding hands with what's known as the North Node. Now, the North Node is not a planet. It's connected to the moon, and it's showing us on a karmic level what we're all aspiring to achieve. Now, the North Node is hopefully showing us the way forward. Now, sometimes when we've got a heavy planet or a strong planet like Saturn conjuncting the North Node, it can sort of make it feel very intense. It can make it feel sort of as if the direction that I'm heading in is arduous sort of work. It's slow, deliberate, definite. I've got to take my steps very carefully. And rightly so, it is asking for all that, but it's also asking for you to sprinkle a little bit of that Pisces energy in there, of that creative energy, of sort of allowing yourself to be, in another dimension sometimes. And that will show you the pathway forward, that, you know, sometimes we've got to put our creative hat on to find solutions in our day-to-day life. And I think as we mature as adults, we forget that childlike, playful sort of imagination type energy. We need to bring a little bit more of that in here. That's really, really important. And, you know, not to be completely in that, we've got to be in a grown-up mindset as well, but we can have both. And, you know, we can blend the both together. And if things get too tough, then take ourselves out into a little bit of that creative mindset and then come back and sort of apply it in a logical, practical, grown-up sort of way. Now, we also have the North Node conjunct Venus. Now, Venus is the planet of love and affection, and this is where we find the things in a chart that we love to do. It's not necessarily, are we always searching for a partner? It can sometimes just be the things that bring us pleasure, things that make us smile, things that make our heart sing, that, you know, we feel really comfortable with. So with this, I'm also suggesting it, you know, yes, it could be a new love if you're seeking new love, but it can also be about looking for something that really brings you pleasure in life, something that you really enjoy doing, and something that you want to do with your life. It's really, really important. Now, we also have Venus conjunct Mercury. Now, Mercury is retrograde, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But with Venus here conjuncting Mercury, we have to be careful if we're having conversations with loved ones or people that we're closest to, making sure that they fully understand from our point of view and that make sure that we listen to them. Now, Mercury is the planet of communication. He is going backwards or retrograde at the moment until April 7, so another few days, less than a week. Now, anytime Mercury goes retrograde, this is when we can expect complications with anything to do with or connected to communication. Your cell phone can break down, your laptop goes AWR. You might have to keep rebooting your computer because things just aren't functioning properly within programs. People don't have their listening ears on. People say, yeah, I'm listening. No, they're not. Ask them to repeat what you just said. And it might seem arduous to do that, but if it's in a very important conversation, you have to make sure that they have fully listening, fully understand and fully absorb what you're saying before we can proceed forward. This is not the time to go to the bank manager for a loan, not the time to ask for a raise at work and things like that, not to have important conversations unless they're absolutely desperately necessary. In the olden days, when we used to send things by snail mail, I used to teach my students this is not the time to send that important letter, that important parcel, because it's probably going to get lost 9 times out of 10. This is the time, if you're traveling, make sure that you leave extra time because there will be mix-ups at airports, bus stations, train terminals, boat terminals, all those sort of things. You know, things will be running late or luggage will get lost or your ticketing's got the wrong date on it and the wrong flight. All those things are possible. So make sure that you triple check these things. I know it might sound silly, but it's important. You know, if you've booked a ticket and you've printed it out online, then make sure, or to your device, that make sure that it's got the right dates and the right travel destination that you're going to. Much easier to sort it out before you leave home than trying to stand at a terminal and arguing with somebody saying, but I did book it for this particular date. Why is it coming up on your screen and on my ticket and it says it's wrong? So, you know, just make sure that we're very careful with our communication, and this washes over all the signs. This is very intense for each of the 12 signs. It's not just for Pisces and the water signs, it's for all of us. So be aware of that. As I said, less than a week to go. Mercury goes retrograde 3 times a year, and it's a time to sort of slow down. Sometimes I find I do my best thinking or make my best plans under a Mercury retrograde because I'm allowing my mind to be still. So maybe that's something that you could do and just see what wanders in and out of your mind. Write it down, take some notes and come back to it in a week or so and see what manifests out of it. It can be a very important time. Now, we also have another configuration here of a number of planets together that I want to speak about. Now, these are going to be sort of fairly fast moving, and they're in Gemini. So it's Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, and the opposite sign of Sagittarius, but then washing over to the remaining 8 signs. So we've got the moon conjunct or holding hands, which is the emotional planet. The moon only stays in a sign for about 2.5 days maximum. So it's a very fast moving sort of energy. You know, it can be here 1 minute and gone the next. He's holding hands or conjunct what's known as the part of fortune, which is known as an Arabian part. So what the moon is trying to do here is to stir things up a little bit on an emotional front and sort of say to you, okay, you can have everything that you want if you're really honest with yourself on an emotional level. So it's not necessarily saying we can have material things, but it's sort of almost like the opportunity to have a breakthrough on an emotional front. If something's been troubling you or bothering you, this might be the time, by just thinking outside the square or having a conversation with someone else, that you'll get that breakthrough that you've been looking for. So these are conjunct Jupiter, which is the planet of expansion and opportunity, are sitting in Gemini, tiny little bit wide. So what that means is it's not quite as intense as it would have been normally, but it's still quite powerful. So it's sort of saying, you know, there's opportunities there. There's opportunities for expansion, but maybe sometimes we've got to just work with our emotions, or let our emotions go and see where they take us. And sometimes by having a conversation or discussing it with a friend can be the sort of, oh, hang on a minute, I hadn't thought about it that way. Yeah, that's a great idea. Yeah, I'll look at that. And that's the expansion or the opportunity that Jupiter is bringing. So it's sort of asking you to sort of, you know, go with the snap of the fingers. You know, conversations or ideas can change momentarily very, very quickly. So just be aware for that things can sort of change that quickly. Finally, Uranus is still sitting in Taurus. For the earth signs, that's Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, and the opposite sign of Scorpio. Be aware that things are still happening quite suddenly in your life. Uranus is like the bolt of lightning, can come out of nowhere, is asking you to get your life on track. Now, many of you I know have had incidences or things that have happened recently that, you know, particularly this year, that came out of nowhere, that have sort of sent your life into a different direction. And you're sort of kicking and screaming and saying, well, where did that come from? Well, where it came from was you were ignoring the energy, you were ignoring the signs. So Uranus came along and said, right, I've had enough, bang, this is it. This is where the changes are coming in. So if you haven't had anything dramatic, then obviously you're doing the right thing. You're learning, you're working with the energy of Uranus, but don't say that you're out of the woods yet if you're one of those signs, because sometimes I think we can become a bit complacent thinking, yes, I've been a good person, I've done everything that's been asked of me, and then bang, in will come Uranus and say, no, but you missed this bit. So just be very aware of that. Yes, it will wash over to the other signs, but nowhere near as intense as those first four that I mentioned. We're going to take our first caller, is Phyllis in Dunlick in Maryland. Are you there, Phyllis?
Yes, I am. How are you today?
Very well, thank you, sweetie. Do you have a question I can answer for you, Phyllis?
Yeah, I have a daughter that's in a very toxic marriage. Can you see anything happening to her?
I actually feel that by the end of this year that marriage will be over, but I'm going to warn you, Mum, that you've got to keep your mouth zipped. You can't put your opinion or your interpretation into what she should or shouldn't do. Be there, be supportive. If she comes to you and she's crying or she's having a bad day and she's talking about what's gone on, just say, oh, yes, okay, dear. Oh, well, I'm here. But don't offer any words of advice, because the moment you do that, she gets her heckles up and then she goes more towards him, because that's how he's programmed her. So we don't want to give him any extra power. He's not a nice man. Look, I'm hesitant to say that. Yeah, I'm hesitant to say that he hasn't put his hands on her. I'm not sure whether he has or he hasn't physically, but I wouldn't like to see that happen.
I think she's afraid of him.
Yeah, she is afraid of him. Look, I'm not going to say that I think he's physically hurt her at this point, but what I'm saying is he's capable of doing it. So the least that we can do to fuel that fire, the better. Yes, he is controlling, and, she sort of is frightened of him, but she doesn't sort of want to admit that to anybody else. She just sort of says, oh, well, I'm doing what I should do as a dutiful wife. Well, that's all well and fine, but, this love, honour and obey rubbish went out a long time ago as far as I'm concerned. She's entitled to have some opinions, but he doesn't sort of see it that way. He sees it as like she's his possession. She's got to do as she's told. She's got to do things when he says that she can do things. But interestingly enough, he's going to be the one to call the end to the marriage. And that's going to come quite suddenly. Now, usually when people call an end to a marriage, and particularly somebody that's so controlling like your son-in-law, there's usually a reason or a trigger for that. And 9 times out of 10, it's because they've met somebody else that, has caught their fancy, that they think that they can control them, like they're a better option. I just sort of feel I'm not necessarily saying he's met somebody else, but what I'm saying is he doesn't seem to get the same satisfaction out of controlling your daughter anymore. It's like, how can I put this? She does as she's told, but there's no emotion in her anymore, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. Oh, I know he's living a double life.
Oh, yeah, I wouldn't be at all surprised by that. But what I'm saying is, from his standpoint, your daughter is doing as she's told, but there's no pleasure in it for him anymore. Like, he's not getting the pleasure of seeing her upset or crying or whatever. She sort of put herself almost into a bubble where she doesn't react anymore, and that's not giving him the reward for the way he treats her, if that makes any sense. But, you know, if you said he's leading a double life, then that's good, because I do think that they didn't show me definitely that he was going to go to someone else, but they showed me he was going to make a sudden announcement that he's had enough of this marriage. It's not what he wanted. He's never loved her, and he's going to be quite cruel with the things that he says. But look, they're words. If he decides to pack his bags and move out suddenly, look, we'll all throw a party, I think, because it'll be the best thing, the best present he's ever given your daughter. And, yes, she'll be upset at the time about it, and that's normal, but, you know, she will be able to rebuild her life. And I think the most important thing that you need to know, Phyllis, is that your daughter will go on to meet somebody who will really treasure her and really treat her with respect. But it will take a couple of years after this marriage is over. So the best thing that you can do, Mum, is just listen, don't offer an opinion, and just say, you know, I'm always here for you. And if you do that, then she knows that you're there, that your support hasn't wavered, and that's really important. So I hope that's helped you, Phyllis.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, lovely to talk to you. So it's always a tragedy when, you know, parents have to sit back and watch a child, a loved one, they're going through a really difficult relationship. You know, you the first thing that you want to do is go and protect your child, no matter how old they are. And that's just the role of a parent, whether you're mum or dad. And it's really difficult to know that, you know, you can see your child struggling and in pain, and all as you can do is sit back and sort of try and help them the best that you can. But it's really difficult sometimes. So my heart goes out to Phyllis. I know what it's like to be in that situation. I've worked with many people over the years that have had children in crisis situations like that. And, you know, with this particular husband, it's until he decides to move on that he's not going to set Phyllis's daughter free. So we're going to talk with Lorna now in La Cruz in New Mexico. Are you there, Lorna?
I am. Hello. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sweetie. Do you have a question I can answer for you?
I do. Our life has been a roller coaster the last 2 years or so, moving and all of this. We just made an offer on a house. It was accepted. And just wondering how the next year or two looks as far as that house goes that we purchased.
So I think as far as the houses goes, I mean, once you've moved in and settled and unpacked and all that sort of thing, I think you're going to keep pinching yourself saying, is this real? This is amazing. I feel so alive. I feel so happy. And that's good, because I think, when you started talking about the roller coaster, they actually showed me a roller coaster in my mind of things going up and down and up and down. Well, I'm pleased to say there won't be that much of that in the coming, next 12 months. Be a little bit. And that's sort of what you're intending to do, the changes that you might want to make, or buy a new couch or whatever. But this next house that you've just put the offer in on, to me, it's got a lucky vibe about it. It feels happy. It feels like a home. It feels like when I move in there with the boxes and start unpacking, it's like, oh, I can exhale. I'm finally home. And that's a good thing, because I don't think, Lorna, that you felt like that you've been home in yourself for a very, very, very long time. So this will be nice to be able to sort of really finally unpack in your mind and say, I'm here. Which one of you is looking for the new job?
I'm always looking for a new enterprise. My husband, I would say me.
Right. Yeah, but I'm going to say I think he's also sort of, I don't know that he's ready to make a change, but he's happy to have a little bit of a look. I think because he's going to be feeling so settled in the house, he's sort of then looking at other areas of his life and saying, well, am I really happy with the job, or will I have a little bit of a look on the job boards and see what's available? I don't think he'll make a change, but I think he'll satisfy himself by having a look. You know what I mean? He's just going to have a little look. But when you say a new enterprise, are you always on the look for something new as far as a business potential, or not just a job?
Yes, no, not just a job. I've owned a couple of businesses over the years. I just always like working for myself, and I have this lavender spray. It's I call it an energetic cleanser that I make, and I feel like just want to give it away. Actually, what I'd like to do, but it costs. So I'm thinking about that.
Yeah, no, and in my experience, Lorna, you shouldn't give anything away, because then there's not the exchange of energy. You know, people used to say to me when I first got into the psychic industry, why do you charge for readings? And I'd say, well, I still need to eat. I've got to pay the utility bills, the phone bill, the this bill and that bill. When they start giving me that for free, then I'll give my readings away for free. So you've got to look at, your time, your energy, your ingredients go into it. There's got to be the right transfer of energy. If you decide to give it away as a gift, that's different. But you don't do that all the time. Now, they were showing me something coming up around August, Lorna, that there was sort of like a new opportunity or a new thought pattern or something that you were going to be exploring then. But I didn't necessarily feel it was going to start then. It was like, oh, that could be good. And it's sort of like I'm going to do a little bit more research and delve into it a little bit more. But this house that you're moving into seems to attract money, and not just from one source. It'll come from many different sources. So don't be surprised if the lavender is just the beginning point, that there'll be other things that will sort of be attracted to it, that we end up with quite a nice little side hustle, with an eBay shop or something like that, where you're selling your products, and it's starting to get momentum. But to me, there's more to come. They're showing me that in past lives, you were a healer. I don't know how you feel about that in this current life.
I worked as a reader for about the last 14 years. I retired a couple of years ago.
Right.
And
but you never
so I've always had a communication with my. So I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to say, but you never really sort of branched into some sort of healing modality with your clients.
No, I'm working on really more of a hobby right now with a gal who is a Reiki master, and working with her on and off. Yes.
Yeah, because they were showing me that, at least 3 past lives where you'd been a healer and they wanted you to get more back into that. I mean, I know being a psychic, you're healing people's emotions, but they were sort of showing me more the physical ailments that they wanted you to get into. So just keep going on the path. This house is going to talk to you. This house is going to guide you to where you need to go, Lorna. So I hope that's helped you. We've come to the end of the show. It was lovely to talk with Lorna. Lots of people are going into lots of new, different, exciting opportunities around the planet at the moment. And it's a very exciting time, with Pluto and Aquarius, and it's sort of shaking things up a little bit. But it's shaking things up in some ways for people to sort of tap into their past lives in a way and move forward. Now, this week I want to leave you with one of my favourite songs, and one of the people that I've had the good fortune of seeing a couple of times in concert. Absolutely amazing singer, beautiful songwriter. And, I think he really epitomises the Aquarian energy. He doesn't sort of take any BS from anybody, and he likes just being himself. And I can remember going to see him at a concert, and he hadn't been to Australia for 25 years, and he apologised that he hadn't been back in a while, but I'm glad you're here tonight. The one and only Neil Diamond. And I'm going to leave you with one of his most powerful songs that he ever wrote and recorded, I Am, I Said. And I think that says it all. Until next week, bye for now.
Fellow seekers of truth, wisdom, and light. This is Reverend Elliot, your friendly neighborhood esoteric practitioner, coming to you live tonight from the city of New York, where we're still freezing. It's still cold here, but I've got news for you. this is show number 399, which means, and I spent hours working this out on my slide rule, and I gave up. I ended up calling Elon Musk, but I found out he's the dumbest billionaire I ever encountered, which of course is a joke. That next week is show number 400. So I'm hoping to do something extra special for the show next week. But for now, it's going to be the same wonderful show featuring the great callers, fabulous people from around the world listening in and calling and